everybody, Bauer around here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. In the video that I have for you guys today, I want to talk a little bit about something called mod etiquette. Okay, and is this such a thing? It does exist. All right, and a few things that have been going on lately that have been brought to my attention and I've been trying to resolve has kind of brought this into the spotlight for me. All right. Not so much the etiquette on my behalf, but on the behalf of others are seem to have an issue with this. All right. So with most of this channel being around tutorials and, teaching beginners how to, get into the modding scene with map making and stuff like that. That's one thing we have not covered, and it's vitally important, right? It's just extremely important that you guys know how to handle yourselves when it comes to the mods. And what I mean by that, there was an old quote out there, right? So, well, not an old quote, but there's a quote: with great power comes great responsibility. Now that I've been getting you guys up to speed and the whole knowledge is power thing. So now that you have the power, you need to handle that responsibly. All right. So what the heck am I talking about? Well, let me tell you. All right. So when you guys are creating a mod, whether it's a map mod or it's a tractor, it's a trailer, whatever. Okay. Now the mod in itself, the definition of the mod, it's a modification of a base game, right? So if you take like the French map and you modify that's a mod. You take a base game tractor, you modify that's a mod. That's your mod. Okay. As long as, it's original, you took it from the base game, didn't, use anybody else's work, anything like that. You created a mod. Now there used to be a term, I don't hear it used anymore, called a remod. All right. So basically that would be if somebody else had created a mod, and then you go in and you take somebody else's mod and modify it again. That's a remod. All right. Now these two are handled a little bit differently. All right. So when you do a mod, just a basic mod, that means it's all original work. Everything is yours. It's all, nothing borrowed, nothing. You went in, you created something original. And that's it. You're the author, you're the owner. You have some intellectual rights to it. I mean, not much. It's not like you can hold a copyright on it or anything like that. But you do have some rights. Okay. And most of this is basically just considerations between modders. Okay. So you would never step on somebody else's toes or, anything like that. So, what I mean by this now. So you create a map. So you created a brand new map. It's a mod map. It's your map. It's all original work. You're the author. You list yourself as the author. Now, if you had maybe used some kind of mods, other people's mods within your map, that's kind of a gray area. You do want to give credit to those mod authors because they work hard. They work very hard on those mods. I mean, you should know yourself, being a map modder, how much work goes into one of these things. Okay. Now, granted, a lot of people are under the mindset that, if you put it up on the internet, it's free for everybody to use, and not exactly right. Not even close, really. Now you put it out there, it would allow people to use. Okay, but not really as they see fit. They can't do anything they want with it. They can't change things up and what have you. But anyhow, it's still very courteous to list the mods that you used and the authors, kind of give them a shout out, like a thank you, right? You can put this in your mod disk or anywhere that you feel is fitting. All right. So you definitely want to do that. I encourage you to do that. Now, it's not necessarily required because the mod in itself, like if I put a map out there, anybody can download it and they can use it. Same thing with like other mod authors that are doing tractors or wagons and stuff like that. They create this mod, they put it out there with the expectation that people are going to download it and they're going to use it. Now, the difference is most mods are used in game. You download, a new tractor, you use it in game. You're not sharing it with anybody. All right. So as a map modder, if you take somebody else's mod and you put that, in your map, you're basically redistributing somebody else's work. All right. And you're including it into your own piece of work. All right. So that's the gray area. That's where you most definitely want to give credit to those mod authors. Now, in some cases, I also encourage you to ask for permission. Right. So generally it's enough, if you're not going crazy with things and your whole entire map consists of other people's work. But if it's just, a few mods here, a few mods there, even placeables, maybe not so much placeables, but most definitely mods, it does not hurt to ask permission. Say, hey, I have this project going on. I want to use, your barn, your whatever, I would like to use that in my project. Is that okay? And most mod authors are easily, they're easy to get a hold of. They're easy to find. So it doesn't hurt. And you will be surprised that the majority of the time your answer will be sure, no problem. All right. So these are things that you want to keep in mind when you're working on your projects. All right. So, always list the mod authors, the mods that are being used in your map, ask permission, when you can, as much as you can, right? It's a courteous thing to do. Definitely do that. Okay. Now with remods, this is a little bit of a different scenario. Okay. So now you're taking somebody else's work and you're modifying it. All right. So these should be for personal use only. All right. You should never redistribute that unless absolutely 100% of the time, and this is not even a gray area, 100% of the time you ask that mod author, hey, I modified your mod. Maybe give them a copy, say, hey, this is what I did. This is what it looks like. Would you be okay if I put this out there? Now, I wouldn't expect your answer to be yes, a lot of the time, because, that's stepping on some toes right there. But if you did an outstanding job, if everything's looked really good, maybe the mod author is okay with it, then sure, he'll let you redistribute. But even then, you do not list yourself as the author. The person that originally created that mod should be listed as the author. You list yourself as modified by. So, the original author, Bauer Brown, modified by, Joe Blow, whoever you happen to be. All right. So you give credit where credit's due. And that's with permission on remods. So remods, when you're creating any kind of mod, you should have it in the back of your mind that it needs to be original for it to be yours. Okay. Or if you have any plans to redistribute, you want to put it up on the internet for download or anything like that, most definitely should be original. If you plan on using somebody else's mod and making a remod, fully expect that that's for personal use only. Maybe you can give it to your friends, or something like that. But never under any circumstances should that mod be placed up on the internet without the original author's permission. And in no way, shape, or form should you be listing yourself as the original author. Okay. That work belongs to somebody else, no matter what you did to it. All right. The idea, the concept, the original work was still created by somebody else. Okay. So you definitely need to reach out to that mod author and let them know what your intentions are with that mod. Okay. So that's what I mean by proper mod etiquette. All right. So asking for permission, like I said, listing, giving credit to mod authors if you use some of their work in your map, stuff like that. All right. So that leads me to another thing. All right. So I've had a few things going on lately. And one of them is, most of you guys should know by now that Rocky Mountain has been released. All right. And this is a first release. I do expect there to be some issues along the way. The testing this time around compared to the Elmcreek extension has been outstanding. There's been so many issues resolved before it even hit the internet. And you can definitely thank Sean O'Brien for that. He's been right out front, just pounding away on this thing, just finding issues. And I've been on the flip side of the coin, fixing them as fast as he can find them. Right. So it's definitely been a tag team on that one. No doubt about it. But Sean put in a tremendous amount of work, and I'm going to thank you for that. Definitely. I appreciate it more than you know. All right. So Rocky Mountain is out there. So a lot of people are playing it, hopefully enjoying it, maybe hopefully not finding any problems. I know Sean and I, we got a dedicated server going. So even the two of us have been putting in a little bit of playtime and trying things out. And it's been a blast so far. So hopefully everybody's having as much fun as we had over the weekend. All right. So now with that being said, when you guys go out and you download these mods, now myself personally, I only updated it or only uploaded it to my own personal website, right? So you guys should know that, BauerBrown.com. Go to the download section and you can get a copy there. Now that copy on my website, it still comes from itch.io. All right. And I uploaded it as well to modhub.us because I still wanted to have at least one version be public, and then go from there. Now, what happens is once it makes it up to modhub.us, people they call it scraping, right? So either they go out, and do this by hand and they go find these mods and they download them to their websites, or they have a script, right? It's like a bot that just scrapes through the other website. Anything new, it downloads it and includes it on their website. All right. Now they're not doing this out of the kindness of their heart to help you out to distribute your work to, to other places and make sure it gets seen. No, they get paid for advertising. These websites aren't just because they like to do this. It's just like a YouTube channel. And in the end, there's an expectation that there's some kind of money is going to be made. Okay. And that's what happens with these sites. They get paid advertising and stuff like that. So the more mods that they have and maps and stuff like that, the more likely people are, to come to their website and download these items, right? So that's kind of the way that works. All right. So with that being said, I uploaded it to my own website, antimodhub.us, and it's pretty much everywhere. Now, I generally frown upon that because if I wanted my mod to be on that website, some of those websites I detest. I will never download from them, and I no way, shape, or form even want my my work associated with their website. Sorry, it's shady. You're scumbags, and that's the end of it. Sorry about that. Pardon my French, but that's just what it is. They did it to themselves. They don't care about the quality of the work. There's a lot of things, and I'm gonna explain the reasons to you why this is bad for you as a mapper, not just me. For you as a mod mapper, when you distribute your own work, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, go to fs22.com or any of these other websites, and those are the bad ones. Trust me on this one. You don't really want to do that. Like I said, they don't care about you. They don't care about your work. They don't care about the quality of your work. But what happens now is that I had an issue with one website in particular, and I believe that may have been fs22.com. We'll have to double check that one. But what they did, and in most cases, okay, so let's go back to where I was, right? So I uploaded to modhub.us and other sites started to grab it. Now, I'm kind of okay with that. Like King Mods, I do like their site. I have nothing against King Mods at all. They were a decent site. I've utilized a lot of mods from there in the past myself. And the one thing that I like about them is when they download your mod to their site, they're not actually downloading it. They're just basically sharing it. They're keeping my link intact. All right. Now I'm going to show you something here that not many people get to see. All right. So here is my itch.io. Right. This is the dashboard for what has been going on during the Rocky Mountain release. All right. So if we look at this, let me go back here a little bit. All right. So we can see up here. So I got a gross revenue, right? And these aren't, I didn't charge anything. These are just donations. So $32. So maybe one day I can go out and, get myself, a pizza and a beer or something. I don't drink, but it is what it is, right? But anyhow, maybe I can treat myself to something small. And, there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into these maps, and $32, trust me, pales in comparison to what I personally think it's worth, at least my time anyhow. But anyhow, that's beside the point. These are people that like the map. They show their gratitude and they donated. So let's see if we can find this site. Let's try this one. Let's try fs22.com. Okay. Now I'm using my work as an example. Okay. But you need to keep this in mind when you put your work out there. All right. All right. So let's go to maps here. Let's find maps. And here's the advertising. Like I said, they are making money. Do not let them fool you. There is money to be made here. All right. So this is where this is where I have a problem with people that work things the way they do. All right. So let's scroll down here a little bit and see if we can't find. I may be on the wrong website, so take this one with a grain of salt. I thought this was one of them. Could be wrong. Where's Black Mountain? Let me search for it. Maybe this is not it. Okay, so it is here. All right. Now, with this one, it's a little different. All right, so they have this. This is blanked out here. I'm not sure what that's all about, and this is blanked out as well. All right, and to me, this is not a bad thing because I had personally reached out to these people because what they had done is instead of like King Mods, their download link, right, will still take you to itch.io. All right, so maybe that's just a problem with their ads here. I'm not sure, but I don't see a download link, and I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. But anyhow, so like I said, King Mods, if say, for example, that this was King Mods here, right? So you would go down, you'd hit the download button, and it would take you to itch.io. All right, which is good for me. So basically, they're doing me a favor, okay? So they're kind of getting the word out there and letting people know about my map, and that's fine because they're keeping the original link. All right. So all of you guys out there that run websites, take note of this, take this to heart. Okay. So what happens is I can go through, right? So if I look at like my analytics, okay, I can scroll down and I can see here that King Mods, I'm doing pretty good, like 539. Modhub.us, it did better than the place I originally uploaded it to, right? So this is important to me, right? These metrics that I'm following. Maybe I know next time I won't even do ModHub US. I'll just go right with King Mods because I get better numbers from there. Okay. But like I said, King Mods, all my traffic still comes through here. I have the opportunity for people to donate, which is great. I can tell how many downloads I have and how many I got from each site, right? I gain followers. There's just a lot of things that's very important about, being able to control your own downloads, right? Not have that in somebody else's hands. So when you get back here to fs22.com, and what they do is they don't share the link, they download it and then re-upload to their website. All right. So now these numbers are no longer accurate. All right. So first I lost potential revenue, right? Because they're not directed through this page. They're just downloading right from ss22.com. Right. So I don't know. My download numbers are off now. So I don't know how well the map is really doing anymore because some of these sites do this like FS22 did. Right. They just, download and then re-upload. All right. So now I don't know if my numbers are too accurate anymore. And then version control is another thing. Right. So when I update my map, I'll update it right through itch.io. Okay. And then all of these sites, they don't have to do anything. I don't have to re-upload to those sites. I don't have to have 6 different versions of my map on that site. The same download will still work for the new versions, right? So for however long people go and download that map, it'll still come through here and they will get the newest version. When they do it like these guys did, you will not. Okay. You're going to get the old version. That's all you're going to ever have. Now, I don't plan on re-uploading to any of these other sites. It's just not going to happen, right? So all of my updates, now that it's out there, all these sites, have a link to it. So if you try to download from any of these sites, you'll get the most updated version as long as they've done it like King Mods did. If you did it like these knuckleheads here, you're not. The old version's going to be there. So, maybe we're on version 2, 3, 4 of the map and you go to FS22. You're going to have the original version, right? Not the updated version. And they don't care. Why don't they care? Because they don't need to. They've got traffic coming to their site. They're getting paid for it, right? So especially if it's a really popular mod, people are going to come looking for that, right? They're going to come to them sites and they're going to look for those mods and they're capitalizing. So basically, what they did here is they cut me out of the loop, so they're basically, potentially taking money from somebody, right? But they're making money off of your work while they cut you out of the loop. Not good. So this is what the mod scene has become, right? These sites, it's shady as heck. right? That these people are doing these types of things. Like I said, I like to follow the metrics and stuff like that and all these analytics and know how well I'm doing in different areas. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference for future maps. What type of map am I going to do? If this map totally bombed, I wouldn't know it bombed unless I had access to my metrics, right? To how many times it's been downloaded and that sort of thing. Right. So it's very important to have this information, and you as creators should be doing something similar, right? Don't just go find the first site like this and upload it and be done with it. That's not cool, right? Because you're never going to be able to properly, track your work and version control and all that sort of stuff, right? So do yourself the favor, all right? And while you're at it, do yourself the favor to stay away from some of these sites, right? They don't support mod authors. They don't care. There's a lot of crap work out there, right? So there's a lot of work now. I don't personally upload any of my stuff to the Giants mod hub. Just too many hoops to jump through, stuff like that. But you can ask Sean. We've definitely put a lot of testing in to make sure this thing is error free. So it's not like we're putting junk up there on the internet, right? We're putting a quality map out there for people, people to play. But these guys don't care. You can upload anything you want, pure junk, and there it'll sit, for the world to, see and download and get frustrated with, right? All right. So that's one thing I wanted to get out there, right? Is to watch where you upload your work to. All right. And stay away from these sites. I mean, if at all possible, like King Mod, stuff like that, those are good guys. They do things the right way. But sites like this, if you download directly from that site, you want to stay away from them. All right. Now, if they have a link that takes you to the original mod authors page, you're good to go. Okay. So this way, you're always getting the most current version of the mod, all the updates. Everything's error free. Not only that, but these guys downloaded it first and then re-uploaded it. You don't know what you're getting, right? Anything could have been injected in the middle there, adware, malware, viruses, you name it, right? So you don't know, right? So you don't want to do that, right? So always go with the original mod author and their work, okay? So you definitely want to do that. All right, so that's one of the issues that I had with the release of Rocky Mountain is it starts hitting these other sites that are basically cutting you out of the middle, and that sucks, right? So I think the reason that this page looks kind of funky here, like I said, and I'm okay with this, is because I had actually contacted these fine gentlemen here, and I asked them to either, please reinstate my original link or just remove it from your website, because you're not doing me any favors at all. Now, hopefully it looks like they removed it, and which is, like I said, I am fine with that. Absolutely 100% fine. And everybody else should be as well. All right. So definitely stay away from these guys. It's a shady group of guys we got going on here. Not only that, but they never even responded to my email, and I wasn't a dick about it. It wasn't, hey, jerkwads, I want you to do this, and that. I put it out there like, hey, these are the reasons that this link is very important to me, as a modder. And, you have the capability of changing your link on your button. I'd be very appreciative, if you do that for me. And nope, they would ignore the message and fine by me. All right. So that goes with a couple of people I've reached out to. Now, generally, I'm not going to go chasing these things all over the internet. These are probably the only people I'd contacted about Rocky Mountain Reserve, but I have contacted other people about other things. And that's the other thing I want to talk to you about. All right. Now, Sean was the first one to catch this one. All right. But I don't think he realized what he caught at the time. And I can't really find it. Let me get into this map. All right. So this map here, from all outward appearances, right, would be the Elmcreek extension. Okay. But it is in fact not, right? So if we look here, all right, let me get back here. You can see the map title here is FS22 Elmcreek Extended. All right. So Sean came across this on YouTube and he commented on it and he said, hey, this thing's been out for a year already. But I don't think what he didn't catch is that it was not the Elmcreek extension. It's called Elmcreek Extended. All right. Now, let me show you something about this here, right? So we got this Elmcreek Extended. Now, let me cruise on down here and have a quick look, right? So immediately I can tell that it's not my map because first, I don't do my trees this way. I mean, sorry, but I personally think it looks like garbage. Not, other people might think it looks okay, but this is not indicative of my work. It's not what I do. All right. But let me get out of the original Elmcreek. Let me see here. Let's head over here. All right. So I had a couple custom placeables here. Right. So now there's nothing here now, which makes sense because, I had a little bit of a barn here. Here's the ramps that I put in for the railroad tracks. Right. And I extended that wall, put that little waterway back there. But you can see that the railroad tracks are completely contained within the map, because that was my doing. That's what I did with the Elmcreek extension. I made, the railroad track self-contained. Okay. So they stay within the map. All right. And this one does the same thing. Now I'm going to show you something here. So I have a folder. Let me go back here into my, let's see, my iDrive. All right. Now keep in mind, this is not my map. All right. Well, theoretically, it is not my map. This author does not want it to be my map. All right. So I got this thing called EE placeholders, and that stands for Elmcreek extension placeholders. All right. So if I take this here, placeables, and this is my folder, right? So I have all kinds of stuff in here. And if I drag this into this map, let's see what happens. All right. Now, granted, this is supposedly somebody else's work, somebody else's map. All right. Now, this is the first time I'm doing this, so I could be completely wrong. Maybe it's not going to work at all the way I want it to. All right. Let's see if placeholders showed up at all. Some of it may not. No, it looks like the coordinates might have changed a little bit because I think some work has been done here. All right. But anyhow, what I wanted to get at, what I expected to happen, let me put it that way. That one didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Is these placeables should have showed up exactly where I had them. All right. Now they didn't now only because this is tied to my personal map, the Elmcreek extension, right? I need to have this set of placeables tied to this particular map, which I don't. I just thought the coordinates would still be the same and not sure why they're not. I'm guessing the 00 might have something to do with it. They probably dorked this map when they were making their lovely edits. But anyhow, like I said, what will show up here is, and I should have done this in game and we're not because I thought maybe the placeables would show up. We didn't have to. But I had two big Quonset huts right here, maybe a smaller one, I think, or at least one big Quonset and a smaller one. And there was a garage here. So you can see that that's all there. The ramp that's here, that's all mine. All right. So if we head over, where should we head? Let's head over to this here. Okay. So this here was Elmcreek Commons. Okay. So let's head down. Let's see what the sign here says. Oh, look. Elmcreek Commons. Hey, you know what? I even remember creating that sign. As a matter of fact, I remember all this. I remember putting in that construction site. I remember putting in all these decals. Yeah, I remember building this whole little city right here. Now, this disgusting monstrosity right in the middle of it, I do not remember because I didn't do that. Right? This is the custom work that the new mod author did. Okay. You can see how crap look. It looked crappy. They just ended the road and made it come into whatever the hell that's supposed to be. Like I said, I didn't look at it in game and I really don't care. I don't want to. I really don't want to have anything to do with this guy. And I guess Famous is his name, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's just keep looking around and see what else is going on here. Now, there's definitely more trees because, like I said, I use a lot of trees in my map, but not like this. This doesn't look good to me. It just really doesn't. But all this is 100% still exactly the way that I had it. All right. Now I can see the cemetery is missing here. Oops, I just spotted something though. All right. So they took out the cemetery, but the professional map makers they are, they left the lanterns there. So they got floating lanterns. All right. So they took that out. I mean, I don't really have to keep going through here. Look at this. Elmcreek Commons. I remember doing this to the water tower. I do not have to go through this to show you every single thing to let you know that this is 100% my map. All right. So this was the marshland, which they butchered with these effing trees. It looks stupid as hell. Right. This person should be freaking ashamed of themselves. All right. And I'll tell you why. All right. So here, here was my marshland. And the reason I know this is an older version is because in the newest version, now I'm up to 1.6, but I think only 1.59 is available on the internet. I didn't release 1.6 yet, but this here you can now delete. Even in the latest version that's available, you can delete this and redo this land if you want to. Right. So this is a placeable now. Right. So you have the option to replace it. But this jackwad went through and put trees all over the place, which is stupid. Sorry, pardon my French. I'm getting a little upset now. All right. So not only that, but we took the forested land, right? So you can see where I painted the ground here. All right. And I had this because those were trees. All right. But I couldn't even repaint the ground, because it's supposed to be forest now. You put trees in to make it look like a forest, but maybe couldn't figure out how to work it. That's my guess. Right. Couldn't figure out how to work the paintbrush. So anyhow, the point here is all of this guy really did is he moved a few things around. All right. He added more trees and made it look stupid. He changed the fields around for sure. I mean, like goddamn trees. Like I would never do this. I wouldn't. I mean, look at half of the ground has grass. The other half does not. All right. So now that we don't even know how to work the paint tool, you couldn't figure out how to work couldn't figure out how to work the, oh my God, the foliage brush. I know these are very complicated concepts. You guys, we've gone over this in the beginner courses. Maybe this guy should have watched my own tutorial series because, like I said, pardon my French, but this is just a shit job. And I don't want my name attached to it. Actually, I don't want his name attached to my work. Let's put it that way. All right. So he took the BGA he took out of here. All right. And did something else with it. What the hell happened here? But he couldn't cover up the roadway. All right. I guess maybe he couldn't figure out the terrain sculpt mode either. All right. So we don't know how to work the foliage. We don't know how to work the paint. We don't know how to work the terrain sculpt mode. All right, but let's do this. All right, so what am I trying to get at here? All right, so this is just turning into a bitch session because I'm really getting pissed off, right? And the reason I'm getting pissed off is because I downloaded this from the internet. All right, this should be a remod. This is a personal edit. Now, as I go along and I teach you guys, how to do certain things, and to be able to create these maps and do what you do. All right. I encourage you to download other people's work, go through it, check it out, pick it apart, learn by it, see how they did things, right? That's the best way to learn. And you can even make some edits, right? So if you download somebody else's map and you edit it, that is what they call a personal edit, right? There's no way, shape, or form should that map ever see the light of day. Never, ever. It just shouldn't happen. Okay. But in this case, it did. They uploaded it. They changed the name to Elmcreek Extended. And let me tell you something about this map. This map took me a hell of a long time. Just getting the DEM right? Because I had to take the original Elmcreek and extend that out without screwing up the original Elmcreek. And let me tell you, folks, that isn't as easy as it sounds. It took a long time, a lot of tweaking, all of this painting, all of the roads that I put in. Just a shit ton of work went into this freaking map. All right. So for some jackwad to come along, add a couple trees, change around the fields, and then all of a sudden he's able to change the name on the map. Right. And if I go through all the folders for this, all of these folders for my placeables, this is all of it is my work. I recognize every little piece that's in here. I'm still in placeholders, but I recognize everything. Hell, did I put this piece of garbage? Maps. There we go. Elmcreek Extended. All right. So all of this is all mine. The Kentucky Fried Chicken that I put in there, that's still there. Literally everything. The Dairy Queen, there's the Dairy Queen, right? And that didn't come as a cell point for FS22, I had to convert it over to a cell point. I put a lot of work into getting that stupid thing to work. Well, not stupid. I like it. But anyhow, so what'll happen now is people will see this on the internet and they'll be like, oh, cool. And another extended Elmcreek, and they'll download it and they're like, oh, wow, I like what he did with the roads. Well, guess what? He didn't do that. I did that, you know? And like I said, I might sound petty or pissed off, but I am pissed off. Very, very pissed off, right? And you know, they're like, oh, I like the way that he did the train tracks and kept them inside. And well, he didn't do that. He didn't do anything on this map. I mean, except butcher it. That's basically all that happened here. All right, so let's get back over to the folder that I was just at. All right, so let's take a quick look through here. All right, so here we have the mod desk. All right, so one thing that I'm looking at right here where it says author. I guess his name is famous because he wants to be famous. Where does that say anus? Because that's kind of the way I look at this. He's more of an asshole than he is anything. All right, but he took the title. We called it Elmcreek Extended. All right. So everything in here, all of this store items, right? So you can see all the local, right? Here's all my local store items because you guys know that I do this differently than everybody else. I keep all of my local store items in the mod desk, and I keep all of my base game over in the store items.xml. So let's go over to the store items.xml, all right, and see what that looks like real quick. All right, so there we got store items. Would you look at that? It's all base game. This guy is brilliant. He must have been paying really close attention to my tutorials because he did it exactly the way that I would do it. Brilliant. All right. You know what? I'm getting pissed. This guy needs to effing stop. All right. So basically he put his name on my work, changed the name of it, and he uploaded it to the internet. And not only that, but when you track this down on the internet, you can go to his Discord, all right, and you can report problems. You can discuss everything about this guy's wonderful map. This, folks, is mod theft, pure and simple. All right, keep this in mind because if you do this yourself personally, you're a scumbag. Now, I know you wouldn't. I'm not talking to you guys directly, but this is what other people are going to think of you. All right. So this guy thinks he's doing himself a favor. Now, what I'm hoping is it's definitely a noob. I mean, the work sucks. Sorry, it just does. Maybe you tried, but you took something that was nice and worked fine and you stepped all over somebody else's work. But in my eyes, it's not an improvement. Okay. Not only that, but he did not ask permission. Never once. And I'm not hard to find. I got a YouTube channel. I got a website. I got email addresses. I make myself public. Right. So never once did he say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. So I'm hoping he's just ignorant of the fact. OK, he just doesn't realize he didn't put enough time and effort into learning how the mod scene works to know that this is taboo and should never, ever in a million years should never happen. But he's taken ownership of it. He's got his name on this map. This is his map. He changed the title. You know, he changed the author. And nowhere in this mod disc, right? Nowhere in here do you see him giving credit to the original author. Nowhere. All right. So I want you to remember this name here, this Anus kid or famous. Look him up. I'm trying to find him because I want to have a conversation with him. This shit needs to stop. And these things need to come down off of the internet. I've approached a couple of websites already and told them this is mod theft in its purest form. It doesn't get any more cut and dry than this. And I'd appreciate it if you'd remove this map from your website. What I would like you to do. Okay. Well, I'm not saying I would like you to, but if you come across just Google Elmcreek Extended. All right. Go into YouTube. As a matter of fact, there's one YouTube channel, the guy that did this. Now, the thing about this is I don't want to pick on this guy. All right. Because what he did is he did a flyover, right? So he did kind of like a preview of this map. He thought it was a new map that came out. Apparently, you know, he wasn't aware of the Elmcreek extension that was out or, you know, he just didn't know. Okay. So it's not his fault. All right. So, but I did put a comment on there saying, hey, you know, basically the comment was to Sean saying, hey, that's not my map. I mean, it is, but not the one you think it is. All right. And then I wasn't mean about anything, just said, hey, this is somebody's a little, misinformed here about the way mod etiquette works. And this is mod theft and not okay to do. It should never be up there. This is a personal edit and it should remain personal. All right. And then I even said to the creator, the content creator on that YouTube channel, I told him, hey, not picking on you. You didn't know anything about this. You had no way of knowing. And I even told him, I appreciate the work you do and the time and the effort that you put into creating this content and the fly-throughs and stuff like that. But he went ahead and hid the content. He hid the comment, right? Didn't delete it. As far as I know, it's hidden. So if you find this channel, go to YouTube and search for Elmcreek Extended. There's only one channel that covered it. And let him know this is not okay. And I'm curious to see what he does with your comments. I had another friend of mine that went and commented on it, and that one got hidden as well. So to me, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. All right. So if people are bringing this to your attention that, hey, this is a stolen mod, this is not right. I don't really expect them to take the video down, although it would be nice. I'll outright tell you, I gave him a thumbs down, a big thumbs down, because I'm not happy about this, and nobody else should be either, because it's the same as websites out there like fs22.com and stuff like that. They're condoning this sort of thing. All right. Now, I'm not saying he's standing behind this guy and he's okay with what's going on. But if you're not allowing those comments to stay up there so other people can be aware of the situation and understand what's going on here, right, and stay away from this mod because it's mod theft, right? But instead he's hiding them, so people are none the wiser. All right, so maybe it wouldn't hurt for him to get a few thumbs down to realize that he needs to be doing things a little bit differently on his channel. All right, so do yourself a favor, head over to YouTube, watch the flyover, see what this glorious piece of work looks like. I mean, you can see for yourself just a few problems I found just going through that. It's just a crap job. I mean, he tried, I suppose, but didn't do a very good job. I mean, you can extend the forest, but you can't extend the texture that goes with it. And just, I don't know, like all these fields here, these are my fields. I remember each one of these fields. I specifically remember creating these. Like I said, I don't have to prove it to you guys. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is absolutely 1,000% my map. Here's the train station that you can't even really see from the freaking road anymore because guys really got something with trees. Now, granted, I had a lot of trees on this map too, but mine were all forestry. There are ones that benefited the player, not got in the freaking way. Yeah, there's good old Elmcreek. That didn't say Elmcreek before. I had to make it say that. Forest Center, all this stuff, I had to make it say that. And that's what pisses me off is the amount of work that I put into this map to make it what it is. And then have somebody else come in and spend. Now, I'm not saying how long he put on it because he hasn't figured out how to work any of the brushes. So probably going to take him too long. But I'm guessing the fact that he doesn't know how to work the brushes, it probably took him a hell of a long time to do all this. But anyhow, the work that he did, I could do in an afternoon, a couple hours maybe. But that's not the amount of work that went into this map. Like hundreds and hundreds of hours are into this map. So like I said, I don't have to prove it to these guys. This is what it is. So like I said, remember the name that what was it here? This F4 famous anus. All right. So remember that name. If you find him somewhere, let him know that this is not right. If you see this map on any other website, I found it on a few and I tried to contact them and tell them I'd like it removed. But if you see this on any site, make sure you hit the comment section and let them know this is not okay. Definitely not okay. And we consider you a thief. This is pretty low. You don't do this sort of thing. Right. So now I'm using this as an example. All right. So put yourself in my shoes. All right. So this is what happens. Now you need to be vigilant that when you put your own work out there. Okay. So keep an eye out because this type of thing could happen. Now I know they say like, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but not in this case. Imitation is the quickest way to piss me off. It's just, it really is. Hey, don't get me wrong. Now, if this guy had done some kind of work, Now, I would have told him no. He said, hey, can I upload this? No. Share it with your friends, play it yourself, but absolutely, don't put your name on it, pretend it's yours and throw it up on the internet. It's so not okay. But if he'd have done an absolutely fantastic, gorgeous rework, maybe I would have considered it, right? You keep my name as the author, and you can put yourself in there, modified by, anus and famous anus. But anyhow, modified by such and such, then yeah, after I checked it out, if I was happy with it, sure, why not? May not be my future plans for the map. And that's the other thing too, is this completely disrupts, the future plans that I have for this map, because I am still working on this map, believe it or not. There's a version 1.6, which has not been released yet. There's definitely been some work that's been done to it. So I am still improving this map. There are things I want to do with it. And the one thing I don't want is people to be confused. And so anyhow, this is now I don't consider myself a giant, but this is what you call standing on the shoulders of giants, right? You're just getting yourself ahead. You think you're going to make a name for yourself by doing this. Honestly, I believe that he doesn't know, that he thinks this is okay, because a lot of people are that way. They think if it's on the internet, it's free. They can do whatever the heck they want to do with it. And it's not the case. Even these websites that are scraping each other, and I didn't ask for it to be put there. They didn't ask for my permission to be there. As far as I'm concerned, it's theft. Like I said, there are certain rights, like intellectual property rights and stuff, but they're more considerations than they are rights, I guess. Like I said, you can't copyright anything, so it's not really a right. In some cases, I guess it is, but you need to respect other people's work. All right, so keep that in mind when you make your own maps and you put them out there, that this could happen. And keep in mind that not to do these types of things, right? So if you're going to edit somebody else's map, you can, and I don't have a problem with that. I've never personally done it. I prefer to make my own. And if this guy wants to make an Elmcreek extended, he should have done that. I just think he absolutely has no clue how to do it. So this is the easiest way for him, I guess, to get ahead, is to just slap his name on somebody else's map. But I really think he's just ignorant to know that this is not okay. All right. So I have not been able to track him down yet. I know he has a Discord channel. So if any of you guys out there are really good with Discord and can track down Elmcreek extended famous anus, then let me know. Please put it down in the comments. Let me know where I can find this guy, because I'd like to have a talk with him. All right. So spread the word. If these guys run into him, let them know it's not okay. If you see this map on the internet, comment, tell them not okay. But anyhow, so that's what I wanted to get across as far as etiquette, right? So this particular situation broke every single rule as far as what etiquette is. Okay. So like I said, this is not the original Elmcreek extension. This is mod theft, basically. It's not basically, this is exactly what it is. All right. And think about it, like what if I take, one of my maps, I draw a field number 1 happens to be a giant penis in the middle of the freaking map. And then I re-upload it and I say, hey, this is a revision of famous anus's work, and I'm pretty darn sure he would not be happy about that, because he didn't make those edits, and he doesn't want his name attached to a giant penis in the middle of the field. Right. Or maybe he will. I don't know what kind of guy he is. Maybe he's excited about that. Who knows? But anyhow, most people would not be okay with that. And you know what? That's what I consider those edits on my map. I consider it a giant penis in the middle of my field. Not okay. It's not, Sorry, especially when there's no credit given. There's no permission asked. And, you're going to put your name up there as the map author when you probably don't have the slightest stinking clue how half of that map even works. Honestly, I mean, I can tell by the edits that you don't have a clue. Is what it is, guys. All right. So now that I work myself up into a frenzy, and I apologize, by the way, I really do. One, for the language. That irks me at a whole nother level. All right. It really, really does. I don't even know where I was. So like I said, I apologize for the language, stuff like that. I would, not encouraging you guys to go out there and give anybody a hard time, but not against it either. Right. So like I said, and it's, if you're not part of the solution, And I think that's what needs to happen here, because this is getting out of hand. The sites that are promoting this type of stuff, just the crap work that's out there anymore. And that's the whole reason behind this channel, is to get people better, and to elevate your skills and to learn and to put out better work, right? Because a lot of it is, and it's dangerous. People learn a few different things, and all of a sudden, I see them answering questions on forums. I see them putting video tutorials out there. Well, they don't have a freaking clue. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. Not only that, but they create these mods. And like this guy, he puts a map up on the internet, which looks like hell. All right. So that's the type of work that's making it out there. And it's all over the place. But that's what happens. These youngsters, and I don't want to say youngsters, it could be anybody, but they learn a little bit and all of a sudden they're an expert. And I'm not even an expert. I screw things up all the time, but damn it if I don't try my hardest to make sure, this kind of crap doesn't make it up to the internet. All right. So that's my goal, is to get everybody better at this stuff, to get educated, to know what's going on. And, and I hope that by watching this video, you take something away from that that things like this are not okay. And that you have some respect for the modding community and for the other modders out there. And you know what to do and what not to do. And you ask permission and you give credit to other modders and that type of thing. And you know what? The community will respect you for it. Right. And that's what I said. You want to be a part of the solution. Right. And that's what it takes. They're going to get away with this unless, we, the people, go out there and let them know it's not okay. Especially Famous Anus. He really needs a spanking. He needs to know that Bauer is not happy with you, buddy. And I feel bad, because I knew at one point I had my favorite mappers, and those were the maps I would go like, I want to learn how he did this and how he did that. And, even like Stevie did a 4X version of Elmcreek. And I love Stevie maps for quite a while at FS19. I would play all of his maps. Then I still do. When they come out, I check them out. So I'd be pretty upset one day, that Stevie thinks I'm a jackwad and basically I'm public enemy number one in his eyes. That would hurt a little bit, My man crush would be crushed, I guess, right? No more fanboying, right? But I'm like that way with a few mappers, because we all have somebody that we look up to, we didn't learn this out of thin air. All right. So we have our favorite mappers. And I kind of feel bad that, I don't put myself up there with any of the other like really good mappers, but maybe some people like my maps, and I feel bad if this is a younger kid and, maybe he's a fanboy and now all of a sudden he's public enemy number one, but who knows? But like I said, spread the word. If you see it, do something about it. Definitely go to this guy's YouTube channel. I'm not going to put the channel out there, see who it is. You do the work. Just search Elmcreek Extended. One video is going to show. Maybe not trash them with thumbs down, or maybe that's what it takes. Who knows? Who knows what it takes to fix this stuff, But put some comments on our, let them know, hey, this is not okay and you should not condone this. Maybe the message will get out there that, you need to do your due diligence also, as a content creator to make sure, that stuff like this isn't happening. Just like the people that have these websites should also, take a little bit more responsibility that they're not, endorsing this type of behavior, because that's what they're doing. Nobody's taken down that version of the map. Nobody's answered any of my emails. They hide comments, don't answer emails. They're all looking out for themselves. You would think they don't want any trouble, but I don't know. I mean, if I could, that's exactly what I would bring to them. But, just so they know it's not okay. But what the hell can I do? It's just one man and his lonely map. So anyhow, in the next couple of days, I'm going to move past this. It's not going to bother me as much, and there'll be water under the bridge. Right. But for now, bugs the living crap out of me. It does. But those are the things that I wanted to get across to you guys. There was probably even more to this lesson about etiquette, but I worked myself up into a frenzy and, I don't know. Can't remember what the heck it was I wanted to say. But like I said, the takeaways from all this now, just to kind of go back really quick, because we're approaching an hour of me ranting. The takeaways. So like I said, mods and remods, mods are something that you do on your own. It's all of your original work. You put your heart and soul into it, and you have every right to slap your name on that baby and call it your own. All right. And that's usually the mod is a modification of the game. So it's usually base game items, not other people's mods, because that's not base game. Right. So if you're modifying somebody else's mod, you're doing a remod. Right. That never, ever gets shared. That's your own personal edit. You use that for yourself and maybe a friend or two. Right. Never makes its way to the internet ever. Right. And never does your name go under there as the mod author, because you modified it, but you are not the author. All right. So keep those things in mind. Give credit where credit's due, and you guys will know when you start putting your heart and soul and your hundreds of hours into these maps, right? Or any mod that you're working on, that's your baby. It becomes personal. It really, really does. Right. And you would think that, you would like somebody to give you credit, right? If they used your work somewhere. Right. So do the same for them, definitely, watch their channels, enjoy their content, give them a thumbs up, whatever you can to support their work. Okay. But definitely ask permission, when and if you can. Not only that, and like I said, these guys, 95% of the time are going to say yes, depending on the situation. All right. If it's something simple and easy, like, can I use your barn in my map? Sure. Not a problem. And it makes them feel good. They're going to say yes anyhow, or maybe they wouldn't even care if they seen their barn in your map. Wouldn't care. But, it makes them feel good that you at least reached out, and you're going to leave an impression in their mind. I remember when Joe Schmo, asked me. I'm a pretty nice guy. And I knew him way back when, and he was nice enough to actually ask permission to use these things. Right. So that's the kind of respect that we want to show to other modders. And that's the type of thing that we want to foster within this community. Right. Because it's gotten bad lately. Right. We've given ourselves a black eye with this one. Right. Well, not really ourselves, but, it's a lot of a major influx of new people, of rookies or noobs or beginners or whatever you want to call them, that sort of jumped into this, and it's just a different generation, right? It's I don't know. They just don't see things the same way that, us old farts do the originals, right? So, they just don't care. It is what it is. So let's do what we can to change it. Okay. So like I said, I don't know, maybe there was more to that lesson. I don't know. It turned more into a rant than anything. So like I said, I apologize for that. I apologize for the language and for getting off track there. So anyhow, guys, help me out if you can. Keep an eye out for these things. Let's be part of the solution, not the problem. And that's about it. I'm gonna leave it on that note. Okay. So with that being said, Bauer Brown, and I will see you on the next one.